Study techniques that changed my life. Hey guys, thank you for your patience. Today I want to discuss how important it is to know the methods of studying. Med school is so vast, and nobody tells us, oh, you should solve questions starting first year, or you should make mnemonics, or you should make these mind palaces. And nobody really discusses all of those things, but it's not like you have to memorize one thing. You have to memorize probably 10,000 things. And I remember in my third year I had to give my ENT prof, and we had the pre-prof exam, and I scored like just barely passing marks. And well, everybody was scoring like 75% or 77%. And my professor was like, oh, you did not study? And I was like crying my eyes out because I had studied, and I just could not remember, and everything felt like a haze, and I would go back and it just felt like this big black hole that I was getting sucked into. So fast forward, this is what I would tell my third year medical student Aditi, First step I would say is immediate recall. So when you're studying something, let's say the fourth generation of cephalosporins, or you're studying that somebody came with cholecystitis, and what is your management? Once you have read the question, you should be either able to repeat it in your mind, verbally, or write it down. So sometimes, like note taking, the concept is that you are writing it in a way you're recalling it, but it should be done without seeing the actual content. I find it difficult to recall it in the mind because I get distracted. So I normally tend to do either verbally, or most likely tend to like type out my notes, which really helps. It enforces that you knew what was discussed, you were paying attention, but it also enforces when you're like saying, oh, we should do elective cholecystectomy in, and you're like, I don't know if it's 7 days, it's 72 hours, and then you go back and check, so that it solidifies these key points also. Second important thing is spaced repetition. So this is something I've recently only started actually enforcing, even though I knew about it for quite some time. So theoretically you're supposed to do it the first recall, then after 7 days, and then after 21 days. But I tend to do it like, okay, I read it today, I'll revise it in a week or two, or then I will do it within a month. Normally it works, but I think scientifically you're supposed to do those sequence. So it makes a lot of sense, like something that you have been seeing in your first year med school. See, if you read malaria, then in second year you again read malaria, and then in third year you saw a patient with malaria, and then in fourth year you were questioned on malaria. By the fifth year somebody asks you what malaria is, you're like, why don't you know? And so even in residency I realized a lot of things that people were surprised that I would remember, is because I had read them so many times over so many years. It was just kind of now ingrained in my head if I wanted it or not. So that's really important, and it kind of takes the pressure off when you're reading, like the answer is clindamycin, and you're kind of repeating in your head, answer is clindamycin, and you're like, using recall. So we all know question banks are much more effective. You could have read a book 4 times, and then when you solve questions you're like, oh, I remember everything but this point, I remember everything but I still don't know the answer. So like, unless you apply, application of the knowledge with just information is useless. So as long as you apply the information, you will learn faster. The two methods I really like is question banks and flashcards. Excellent modes of learning. Even if you're not that emotionally invested, I think they work very well. Definitely recommend them instead of rereading everything, unless you are apt at it and you know how to recall from reading, like you say it out to yourself or you teach. Other than that, I really like flashcards. Mnemonics. Everybody loves mnemonics, I think. what I used to do about mnemonics, I love them for like uses, side effects, and again more rote memory things. I would try to fit the side effects into the name of the medication. So, for example, sertraline. Sertraline is as an SSRI. So the first thing would be S for sexual dysfunction, um, T for tummy upset. So think like I don't even have to remember a mnemonic word, but it's fit into the name of the thing. So it's like the name is giving me the answers, which I really liked. So I hope that was helpful. Keep hustling, keep studying, but stay calm. Um, I do want to discuss other things that are helpful to me and are evidence based, but I wanted to give you information that you can digest in one video, so we'll discuss that in the next video. We will also start holding study with me sessions regularly, so look out for them.